Hello, welcome. We're here to learn a new thing today, as always, but let's start with a warm-up with some call and response phrases singing those new notes we've learned recently, te and si. So here's the first one, just an easy one to start. So, mi, do, la, fa, mi.
So, mi, do, la, fa, mi.
La, si, la, mi, fa, re.
La, si, la, mi, fa, re.
Do, so, te, la, so, mi.
Do, so, te, la, so, mi.
Do, fa, so, re, la, si.
Do, fa, so, re, la, si.
So, do, te, fa, so, do.
So, do, te, fa, so, do.
Last one. Mi, si, la, ti, do, do.
Mi, si, la, ti, do, do. All right, well, those were some squirrely little call and responses there, but hopefully you had some success, and at any rate, at least it hopefully refreshed your memory about what si and te and all the other notes sound like. As Georgia said, we are going to learn a new thing today, but we're not going to necessarily learn a new pitch or note like we've been doing up to this point. We're going to start with some review of some concepts that we should be familiar with. So let's turn our attention to our staff here. Right from the left, you'll see we've got a treble clef. And then we've got a key signature. If you can review in your mind, the final sharp that you see, its name is, hopefully you said T. So we know that this, the final sharp there being on C sharp, tells us that T is C sharp, so do is D. And then you'll see we've just written in a whole bunch of whole notes which make up a D major scale. So in fact, I'll get us in the right key here. If you have perfect pitch, you didn't need that, but alas, I have far from perfect pitch. So let's just sing that scale together. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. All right, and so nothing new there. What we're now going to do is have Georgia, while I'm talking, she's going to write in, right on top of that first do, she's going to write in a third and another third. So it looks like a snowman. I've taught you before, we've talked about this a few times, that snowman has a special name in music.
It's gonna bother me so much if everything is blue. The green one's right there.
And we're back. We had to stop because Georgia could not proceed to draw triads with a blue marker on top of green notes, so I went and got the green marker for her. You were learning something about Georgia as well. So these are called triads. A triad is just a third stacked on top of another third. And we'll talk a little bit more about the types of thirds in a second. Ooh, look at that. Georgia had to draw a ledger line. You remember ledger lines? Okay, lots of review today. So now we've got a whole bunch of triads. And this is, again, nothing new, but you'll see that we've got the whole scale. One could call this a triad scale if they wanted to. A triad built on top, a third and another third on top of each note of the scale. Now, a couple things about this. Within a triad, there are 3 notes, and those 3 notes might from time to time need to be referred to individually. Those notes actually have individual names. So the bottom of a triad, the one that gives it its name, is called the root. So here, the bottom part, the tail of our snowman, so to speak, is called the root, the feet. The head of the snowman is called the fifth. That should be easy because that's the 5th note up from the root. And the middle, the abdomen, the tummy, is called the third. So if I were to refer to the bottom note of that triad, I'd call it the root, the top is the 5th, the middle is the third. Very good. Now, also, we've learned a whole bunch of different ways to refer to different pitches or notes. So we've called notes do or fa or so, and we always had you write those notes in lowercase letters. The reason we did that is because then later on we learned about absolute pitches like D flat or C sharp or B. We are going to learn another new kind of way of categorizing things, which is how we name chords or triads. And so this first chord here has a name, and it's called the 1 chord. It's built on the first note of the scale. That looks kind of like a 1, but it's sort of a weird 1. The second note of the scale, the chord, the triad built above that, is called the 2 chord. Well, that's kind of a weird 2. And then we've got the 3 chord, even weirder 3. And then we've got the 4 chord. And I will just talk while Georgia proceeds, and we will demystify what this is exactly. So we use something called Roman numerals to analyze or name chords and triads. So if you're not familiar with Roman numerals, the way it works is that you have an I to represent 1, 2 I's to represent 2, 3 I's to represent 3, a V to represent 5. So what's the IV for? The I is showing you that it's 1 before 5. So IV is 4, V is 5, VI is 6, VII is 7, etc. We don't need to go beyond that, thankfully, in music, so we don't need to become Roman numeral experts. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here we go. There's another 1 chord. Now you'll notice something else kind of weird here, which I was just referring to. 3 of those triads, the 1, the 4, and the 5, or the triads built above do, fa, and so, those are in uppercase letters. Do you see that? And then the 2, the 3, and the 6, and also sort of the 7, but more on that in a second, are written in lowercase letters. So what gives, Georgia?
It's because some of them are major triads and some are minor triads. Major are the ones with capital Roman numerals, and minor are the ones with the lowercase Roman numerals. There are 2 kinds of thirds. There are major thirds, which is 2 whole steps, and minor thirds, a whole step and a half step. And each of these triads is made up of 2 thirds stacked on top of each other. Each one has a major third and a minor third. If the major third is on the bottom, we call that a major triad. And if they're the other way, with the minor third on the bottom, we call that a minor triad. So that's how those work, the major and minor. There is that one funky 7, and that is a diminished triad, which is a big fancy word, but all it means is that it's 2 minor thirds stacked on top of each other.
Very good. All right, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, but there are only 4 types of triads that can possibly exist. So major third plus minor third, major triad, like Georgia said. Minor third plus major third, minor triad. Minor third plus minor third, diminished triad. And if you were to, for some reason, put a major third and a major third together, that gives you something called an augmented triad. And that's all the options there are. So now we can see what these look like. Let's try to sing them, shall we? Problem is there are 3 notes and only 2 of us. So we're welcoming in a friend. If you've watched a whole bunch of these singing family canon or hymn videos in the past, you probably know our friend Benj here. He's going to help us sing these. So I'm going to give us our D again. And you'll see that in each triad we have 3 notes. We can sing or play a triad a number of different ways. If we were to play all 3 notes at the same time, I've said the word a couple times, chord, we would call that a chord, just like what you'd play on a guitar or a piano. But if we were to play the notes individually, we would call that an arpeggio. So we're going to do it like that. We're going to play the root, then the 3rd, then the 5th, and then come back down through the 3rd, and the root again. So I'll be singing the bottom note, and to start, we'll sing our solfa pitches. So I'll sing do, mi,
So,
and then we'll come back down that way. So sing with one of us, or, honestly, you could probably sing all the parts if you want to. Just sing do, mi, so, mi, do. But you could watch the hand sign that one of us is making if you'd like to, and just find a partner to sing with the whole time. We'll go straight up until we get to the 7 chord, and then we'll pause. Okay, here we go. 1 chord. Do,
mi,
so,
mi,
do, that's me. 2 chord, re,
Fa,
La,
fa,
re. 3 chord, mi,
so,
ti,
so,
mi. 4 chord, major, fa,
la,
do,
la,
fa. 5 chord, so,
ti,
re,
ti,
so. 6 chord, minor, la,
do,
mi,
do,
la. Last one, weird 7 diminished chord, ti,
re,
fa,
re,
ti. And then, of course, then you'd have another do. Just like you have a high do, you could have a high 1 chord. Okay, so those are arpeggios. Now we're going to go back and sing them as chords. If there are any choir directors at home, you're probably going to be bothered if we sing do, mi, and so and try to make it blend like a chord. So instead, this time we're just going to hold up, the number of this chord we're going to sing and then sing all 3 pitches on oo. And it's going to be a nice round oo that blends, not a smiley oo, but a tall round oo. So I'll sing do on oo. And we'll hold that like a chord. Okay? If it helps at all, you could write out the syllables underneath or the solfa pitches underneath each chord like we just sang them. That might help so you can keep track. And again, maybe you just sing with one of us the whole time. So from the beginning, here we go, 1 chord. 2 chord. 3 chord. 4 chord. 5 chord. 6 chord. 7 chord. Let's do one more 1 chord. Okay. All right, so there you go. That's the sound of the chords. And now if you're listening carefully, you might notice that each of those chords, in the same way that fa has its own sort of sound, ti has this piercing sound, la has this sort of sad, kind of melancholic sound, mi is just sort of steady and stable, so is very bright, and do has this home sound, stable home. Each chord has its own sound as well, so you'll start to recognize that sounds like a 5 chord. I can hear how that one sounds. I can recognize it. Now to kind of drive the point home, a little bit more, we're going to do a song that maybe you're a little bit familiar with. So it's going to follow a chord progression or a number of chords within the key that we're in. It uses the 1, the 4, and the 5, the 3 major chords. I'm going to sing the root of each chord. Ben's just going to sing the third of each chord. And Georgia's going to sing the melody to this song. And you see if you can recognize what we're doing here. We'll sing them on oo again. I'll hold up fingers so you know which chord we're singing. Okay, we'll start. Ready?
Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. Well, that was fun. Now to give you the chance to sing the melody, we are all going to sing our solfa pitches. Really the only one changing here is me. I'm going to go back to singing the 5th of the chord. You can sing the melody if you'd like, if you know the song, or just sing these chords with us to get the feel of switching from chords that are further apart than just do to re, re to mi, things like that. So sing with us and we'll start on the 1 chord.
Okay, here we go.
Well, that was fun. Thanks for singing with us. We hope this all is starting to make sense. And if it doesn't, there are more videos following this that'll just help keep putting all those pieces into place. So keep following along, and we'll see you again soon.